It's finally time for a brand new Iceberg video surrounding potentially the most bizarre topic I am yet to discuss on this channel, IKEA. Yes, there's a bit of a meme, but still very interesting to research and discuss, so without any further ado, let's get into this iceberg. If you guys do enjoy these iceberg videos, please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos too. Any comments regarding future iceberg videos are always also very appreciated. Let's start with the surprisingly stupid but still relevant aspects of the company, and bear with because it is going to start bad, but it will get considerably better. In 1926, Ingvar Kamprad was born in Almut in Småland in southern Sweden. Wow, that was hard to say. From a young age he knew how to run a business, and at the age of 5 was already selling matches. Then he went to Christmas cards, crop seeds, and then pens to his neighbours. Fast forward to 1943, at the age of 17, Ingvar's dad gave him a small sum of money to set up a company for himself. This company would become known as IKEA, which was an abbreviation of Ingvar's name and Elmtarid. This is Swedish stuff, right? The Swedish stuff is really difficult to say. Elmtarid, which was their family farm, and then Agunarid, the local parish he lived in. They did not initially sell furniture, but rather would sell food products, and in 1948 furniture was first introduced. The IKEA logo is iconic given its simplistic design, and as most people could probably infer, is based on the Swedish flag. However, this was not always the case, as the company has had a black and white logo in 1967 and a red and white logo in 1981, before going to the now blue and yellow logo we know today. IKEA is iconic when it comes to the restaurants that are within their stores, however this only came around in the 60s. The reason behind this decision from Ingvar was that they only sold coffee and cold dishes in the IKEA stores, so people would leave the store at lunchtime to go and get food, which disrupted the buying process. So Ingvar kitted his stores with a microwave oven, which at the time was a novelty, and started to serve hot snacks such as hamburgers. It's time to move on to the second level, where we are still talking about very obvious parts of the company, but instead with some details that most people wouldn't actually directly know. There is no food item that IKEA sells that is any more recognisable than the iconic IKEA meatballs hoofdroll. The meatballs were introduced all the way back in 1985. There was also a scandal in 2013 where Czech authorities were allegedly finding evidence of horse meat in their meatballs. As soon as IKEA heard these concerns, they stopped sales and ran some tests to find that they could not detect any traces of horse meat. So IKEA maps have a neat little feature where one of their global maps, which was released 3 years ago, seemed to have quite an error on it. Can you see what the issue is? And if you said that New Zealand was missing, you would be correct. And what made this even funnier is that when this map came out, the first ever IKEA was opening in New Zealand, so this was certainly a blunder on behalf of the company. Before 1951, IKEA was very different, and this was due to them finally deciding to sell furniture in their stores. But also their iconic IKEA catalogue came out, as a means to reach customers that were far away. The town IKEA was started up in was situated in the middle of nowhere, and therefore the brains behind IKEA stipulated that incorporating a product catalogue would make people more likely to visit their store to find the desired product from the catalogue. Conveniently, this was also the time when they started to incorporate the selling of furniture more and more. The self-serve part of IKEA is the floor which you would go to pick up all your beautiful flat-packed furniture. Here the furniture is available to purchase, and this is largely a unique feature IKEA has compared to other furniture stores. There was a massive trend on YouTube circling around where people would play hide and seek within IKEA. However, this was officially banned in IKEA stores in 2015 due to the increasing trend of people doing this. However, the most well-known one happened within Glasgow in Scotland, where the police had to stop an IKEA hide-and-seek game with 3,000 people involved. The police had to stay at the store to gauge who they thought looked suspicious, or were genuinely looking for the next chair to add to their dining room ensemble. Somehow IKEA has managed to create its own conspiracy surrounding its chocolate cake. There was a chocolate cake available in IKEA stores throughout the United States, which was called the chocolate conspiracy cake. And despite many people trying to figure out how this one-of-a-kind chocolate cake is made, no one as of yet announced that they have figured out the recipe to this cake, and everyone still states that the cake has no right to be as good as it actually is. As most people who have ever bought flat-packed furniture from IKEA will know, their instruction manuals are surprisingly difficult due to the fact the instructions have no words, but rather a lot of photos and drawings, and arrows, to imply how things fit together. It is certainly translatable and means they do not have to make a different manual for every language, but sometimes we want at least a couple of words to say where the fucking screws get put in. Do you know those things were bizarre? Well, it's going to get considerably weirder with some of the most bizarre elements to this company. IKEA has custom biscuits, which are called their Kex biscuits, which are entirely based on the alphabet, and as such, some people have taken to even playing Scrabble with these. They are certainly a positive seller for the company, as they also taste really good and are great for the morning coffee. IKEA had an advert banned in 2002, and after having watched the advert, it's safe to see why. Since it depicts a woman and a man fulfilling potentially one of the most bizarre fantasies that have ever been depicted in advertising, I cannot show the advert on this video, since I don't think it's entirely allowed by YouTube. However, re-uploads do exist out there, so go and check it out for yourself, but be aware it is somehow both funny and disturbing. If there is one thing I must say about IKEA, their customer experience department needs to earn more money for some of the tremendous work they do. Certain IKEA around the world have a place called Smarland, where parents can drop their kids off for free while they shop around the store. The children get an IKEA ball pit, IKEA toys, art supplies, movies, and more. You can leave your child there for an hour, and it is completely safe since no adults are allowed into the play area, but rather their children will be brought out to them, and their identity will be checked as well. As a parent, you also get a ticket and a pager which lights up when you need to head back to the play area, and if your child desperately needs you, this pager will also get a hold of you. The majority of IKEA throughout the world are 3 floors tall. This is because the store is laid out like a maze, as if you are walking through the IKEA catalogue, and to take you on a journey. This means you have at least 2 floors which take you on this journey, and then 1 floor is generally the warehouse floor. Let's now start to discuss some weirder elements and bizarre theories to be encountered by both the staff and the consumers in the halfway point for this iceberg. Okay, so everyone remembers 3 AM challenges, where people would try to stay overnight in retail stores, sports stadiums, and more. These were huge in IKEA, due to the size of them, but also the massive hiding spaces that were available in these stores. This became a bit of a social epidemic, where people would flock to their nearest store to participate in this challenge. This led to countless arrests, detainments, and people being banned from IKEA stores for life. This one ties into the final one a bit, so I'll try not to gloss over it with too much detail. But basically the thought is that the employees are literally just there to keep IKEA going. Like, they are meant to keep it tidy and food stocked and everything, but they're also meant to get rid of the humans that are in IKEA at the end of every day. As I said, this one I think ties into the final one a bit more, so you just have to wait until we get there. The IKEA effect is a bit different to what you would expect, and it basically states that if a consumer makes a product themselves, they appreciate it more, and have more of a value attached to it. This is largely why IKEA has never particularly moved away from flat pack, since they truly believe in the IKEA effect. Personally, if I'm putting together a chair and it's not going together, I'm probably not going to be experiencing the IKEA effect, probably more going to be experiencing something considerably worse. I do hope you guys are enjoying this dive into the hidden details of IKEA, and if you are, let me know what is the weirdest part of the video you have heard so far, and I promise you it is going to get worse. The backrooms is essentially a separate location which you can never leave, and you are destined to walk the halls for as long as you can. A massive connotation is that the person who created the backrooms creepypasta got the inspiration for this from an IKEA, since it matches in colour scheme and the feeling of endlessly wandering through the halls of an IKEA. Once again, another example of IKEA being an excellent company. Back in August of 2018, there was a horrendous crash between 2 lorries on the M25 in the UK. and as such 200 motorists became stranded due to the backlog on the motorway. So IKEA stepped up and offered them all a bed for the night within one of their stores in Thurrock. Very good of the company. In the finale for season 27 of The Simpsons, there was a joke about the Simpsons' living room not having a sofa, and as such they plan on ordering a new one. However, to no avail, and after trying to bribe Bart to build it for him, again, to absolutely no avail, he simply opts to steal his neighbour Ned Flanders' couch. This is not directly associated with IKEA, but when you see the skit, it's hard to see it as anything other than a piss take on IKEA manuals. IKEA has potentially the best returns policy in the world. If you purchase a product from IKEA for a new property, but then after 9 months or so of trying to figure out the furniture won't fit when it has been built, and as such, you can return the product. You get 365 days to return an unopened product with IKEA. It is insane. Back in 2015, there was a bizarre sighting in an IKEA store in Western Siberia, where what appeared to be an odd floating light was seen above the IKEA in Omsk. Astronomers ruled out that this was a comet or an asteroid, and of course the public did what they do best and said, aliens. Only a year ago, IKEA released an advert which included an adorable little yellow robot, who was cleaning up the planet, but to no avail. IKEA were trying to promote social action to tackle climate change, while also ensuring they could advertise their business too. And we see a surprisingly emotional robot dealing with the consumer destruction of the climate. During the increased hype surrounding UFOs and the release of classified intel surrounding alien encounters, which had been made massively viral with the public, IKEA decided to make their manuals suitable for alien species as well. Although, surely they were always? IKEA, what on earth is up with the sexualization of your adverts? There is a reason these keep getting banned. This advert is one I can actually show, but this advert basically shows a woman seductively eating spaghetti and then accidentally eating a shoelace with the tagline of "tidy up." This is intended to get people to design their rooms based on the minimalistic styles which IKEA had, but the advert was banned and has fallen to the void of banned IKEA adverts. This one was banned in Germany, and for slightly less sexual reasons this time, but rather for its depiction of how Swedish people were drinking excessively, and the cutting up of a fish which had it just splaying everywhere. It probably could have gotten away without being banned, but then you get the joy of once again an unnecessarily sexualized component, where a man and a woman sneak off from the party to partake in some typical IKEA fantasies. IKEA has claimed the lives of countless people, with certain aspects of its furniture that are not fit for safety standards. Throughout 2010 to 2020, IKEA had to settle $96 million to families throughout the world. In 2016, one such dresser fell over and tragically took the life of Ted McGee, but IKEA did not do much. They could have halted the sale of the dresser in a day, but it took longer than that. Now, obviously all dressers can tip over and any furniture can, but weirdly IKEA furniture seems to have this happening to it considerably more. Scott SEISS is a TikTok influencer who used to make parody videos based on IKEA. His videos were very good commentary on what it felt like to work in retail. However, his content actually led to IKEA having to release a statement that he was not an employee and had never been employed by IKEA. IKEA is a massive company in terms of trying to offset their impact on the climate. And by 2020, they had nearly completely phased out their single-use plastics that they sold within their stores. And I think once again, this should give the company a lot of credibility. They're also trying to end all plastic packaging by 2025 due to the amount of this which they do actually sell. It's finally time for the penultimate layer with some unknown aspects of this retail giant. And after this, we have potentially the weirdest aspect of IKEA which has ever been seen. IKEA, please for the love of God fire your advertising team. This one was surprisingly not banned due to its sexualization of furniture, but rather its portrayal of the horror film The Shining, where instead of cycling the halls of the Stanley Hotel, the halls of IKEA are being cycled instead. Evidently this was a Halloween advert and certainly did the job of scaring some of the watchers, but I personally really liked the advert and thought it to be really quite funny to watch. IKEA stores have a singular formula that most stores tend to adhere to. Walk through the different rooms that are all open plan without doors required to open. So imagine the surprise when one user on TikTok by the name of Ange0Bange0 or Angebanjo found a secret room in the Greenwich store in London, simply labelled Infinity. She found a room with low purple lights, a mirrored floor and no home accessories at all. The Deal Guy is a YouTube channel which creates videos on shopping secrets around stores like Aldi, Amazon, and the major one for today being IKEA. And he found a lot of secrets. Firstly, the doors in IKEA and the way through IKEA being a one-way trip, which you are required to follow the arrows. This isn't true. There are actually shortcuts which can be found on the in-store shopping list, so you don't need to spend time walking through the store. Secret number 2 encounters their VIP program. And the main perk of this is a 90-day price protection, where if you have the original receipt and it goes down in price in 90 days, you can get the money back. If you want to know more, I highly suggest you go and check out the Deal Guy's video, as it was very interesting to watch. There was a story at the start of COVID where a man supposedly made a never-ending labyrinth within IKEA by sticking the floor arrows onto the floor and setting it to a never-ending loop. However, this was actually satire, despite most people, including myself, believing this was actually possible. And finally, the most mysterious and most unknown aspect of IKEA is the SCP that was actually created for it. This is the final layer. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far, and this is it. SCP-3008 is sometimes also referred to as the Infinite IKEA. The retail unit is referred to as being physically unable to store and contain all of the space within the retail unit, since the doorway transports you to a brand new dimension. There is also an unknown number of humanoid entities within the retail unit. They have no facial features and are often referred to as just inhuman, either too small or too tall. They wear yellow shirts and blue trousers, same as the standard IKEA uniform. This is a very interesting SCP story, and even if SCPs are not your thing, because they're not really mine, I'd really suggest having a look at this one, because it is very detailed, and there's even a game based of this, which to be honest I might actually play, because it sounds quite fun, called The Store is Closed. That is all for the definitive IKEA Iceberg. And it is definitely different to the other iceberg videos which I have made. But I thoroughly enjoyed making this, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it too. I have a couple more iceberg videos that I have now written the scripts for. They do just take a bit of time to get produced and edited. I also have a video coming out surrounding Twitch that I'm very excited for. But again, that one's taking a long time to edit. So any support on these videos is greatly appreciated. And also let me know down below what other videos you want to see me make, or what else you want to see me make an iceberg on. Thank you guys, I'll catch you later. Bye bye.